Hi, my name's Stan Davis. I've been working as a child and family therapist for the last 39 years and as a school counselor for the last 20 of those years. And the last 10, I've been focusing on the prevention of bullying because it seems to me this is a place where we can do social justice work in a school. And kids who belong are going to learn more. Kids who feel safe are going to learn more. Those two things have to come before mastery and the acts of learning. Over those years, I've looked at a lot of research and I've thought about what works and what doesn't. And for me, it distills down to just 5 or 6 points. The first is that schools that are both warm and connected and clear and consistent in discipline can teach both empathy and responsibility at the same time. And therefore, they're in a better position to protect everybody in school from cruel behavior. They're also in a good position to protect kids who do act cruelly to others from carrying that behavior on into the rest of their lives. You know, youth who bully in middle school are 5 times as likely to have a criminal record in adulthood unless something changes. So again, warmth and connectedness with every student and discipline that emphasizes responsibility and honesty and consistency, to me, are the two key areas. In building connections, this really has to do with staff members' day-to-day behavior in the hall. Do we pass students without greeting them, or do we say hello to the people we pass? Do we reach out to the kids who we know are isolated and maybe not connected with other staff members? Or do we focus on just teaching math? Now, math is important, but we're also teaching children. And in teaching children, the more connections we build, the better. There's an acronym that I've run into. I don't really know who originated it. It's in use a number of places, saying that we should always take the time to give a hug, meaning hello, update, goodbye, every time we pass a student. In talking with kids about their behavior, I think the core issues are to emphasize the value of responsibility and especially the value of honesty. Because all the social science research I look at in terms of change says when you do something wrong, you can either pretend you didn't do it, in which case you're not going to change. That's kind of a way of justifying your behavior to yourself. Or you can do the much rarer and more valuable act of saying, I did this, it had a bad effect, and I'm not going to do it again. So every time we thank a child for honesty, every time we emphasize the importance of young people telling us what they've done instead of us telling them what they've done, we work in that direction. And we can teach students school-wide to examine their behavior and look at alternatives. Say, if this is happening, what could you do? All right, what else could you do? What else could you do? Dr. Myrna Shore calls this teaching children to think how to think instead of what to think. And in the same way, we can help young people find positive bystander options. Because if I see someone being cruel to their child in the grocery store and saying, you're going to get it, you're such a bad kid, you're such a rotten kid, wait till we get home, it's not easy for me to figure out what to do. I'm certainly not always going to walk up to the person and say, stop that right now, that's inappropriate. Because I might get hit or the kid might get hit. But I might distract them, I might smile at the kid. If the behavior's really severe, I might tell someone in the store, or I might call the police. There are a number of things I might do. So we have to help young people find a range of things to do besides just saying, that's bullying, I don't like it, stop it. They can also befriend the target. They can sit with the target, walk with the target. They can tell adults, and in some situations, that's of course the right thing to do. If someone's saying, I'm going to bring a bomb to school tomorrow, you don't go up to that other student and say, don't do that, that's a bad thing. You have to tell an adult. Sometimes just befriending the person who's being targeted is the right thing to do. If someone's left out at lunch, you go sit with them. And overall, I think bullying prevention takes systemic change in a school, but we can get impatient about that while we're waiting for it to happen. And there, I think there are two things to remember, two wonderful quotations, because our individual actions are important too. Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. And St. Francis of Assisi said, preach the gospel, use words when necessary. Our actions from day to day as we connect with excluded youth, as we praise students for responsibility, as we model positive feeling, tone, and behavior, our individual actions as educators make a difference also. And so that's something each of us can do while we're working together on systemic change. The goal is to have a school where normal is defined as being kind to other people, being kind to everyone. We may not be everyone's friend, but we're everyone's colleague or classmate or coworker. And that's, of course, behavior that people need to carry on from childhood into adult life, in the workplace, and in relationships.